No, it's not gonna. I just got them done. Hi, hello, how's it going? It's Lo. It is June. And June usually means that people are doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I will admit the name of this tag is quite confusing, if I am to be honest, but I decided that I'm gonna join in on the fun. Am I doing this because I haven't read shit for the last month and I am on a deadline on my thesis and I just need to get a video filmed just so I won't feel shitty about not being able to pay attention to books and my booktube channel while I'm on deadline for my thesis? Yes. The answer is yes. The mid-year book freakout tag is basically a tag that you're supposed to evaluate the books that you have read up until the middle of the year. We are in June. Last year, I said that my expectations for 2021 were to read 100 books and to get a vaccine. I am 12 books behind my schedule, thank you Goodreads, and I still haven't gotten my vaccine, so cheers to that also. In lighter news, my dad also got his vaccine, my mom got hers last month, all of my uncles are finally vaccinated, and so slowly but surely people are getting their vaccines. When am I going to get mine? Let's start on the tag, shall we? So the first question of the tag is, what best book you've read so far in 2021? So I've read a lot of really good books in 2021. I am not sure that I can nominate just one for this prompt. So I'm just going to list all of them beginning January until now. So the first great book that I read in 2021 was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Then the next great book that I read in 2021 was Beloved by Toni Morrison. Then it was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. The Book of Embraces by Eduardo Galeano. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This Is How You Lose the Time War. Like a Love Song by Gabriela Martins. The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. Best sequel you've read so far in 2021. So I actually haven't read that many sequels. I think this has been sort of like a theme throughout the mid-year book freakout tags that I've seen, that people haven't actually read that many sequels. I did read the sequel for From Blood and Ash, which is, I forgot, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. That was solid, but I wouldn't say it's the best sequel that I have read in 2021. I don't think I have read a sequel yet that I've been like, this is chef's kiss amazing so far. Still waiting out on it though. The next prompt is a new release you haven't read yet but you want to. So quick answer, The Honey and Issue Guide to Fake Dating by Adiba Jargidar. As you all know, I am an Adiba Jargidar stan. Everything that woman writes I will buy and read, but I haven't been able to get my hands on Honey and Issue yet. I am so excited. I want to read it. I want to feel good stuff. I'm late on my game, I know, but I am denying myself a whole lot of things until I'm done with my thesis, okay? So don't come for me. So the next prompt is biggest disappointment. Oh. My answer to this prompt is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. Now, I've talked about this in one of my previous wrap-ups, that I read The Year of the Witching and I didn't like it. So long story short, what I didn't like about The Year of the Witching is that it apparently offered a really great twist at something that is very interesting to me, which is the story of witches and witchcraft and witches as a way for the oppressed to kind of get back to on the system that oppresses them. And the story really seemed like it was going towards that route, and I was digging it once it was doing that. But then halfway through the story, it just didn't. The thing that I really didn't like about this book, and if you want to read this book and you care about spoilers, skip ahead a little. But the thing that I didn't like about this book is that a lot of the book would only make sense if the witches were misunderstood. And I feel like even though this is a twist that most of us would expect in a book about witches, I feel like it's something that would actually make the entire world make more sense, and it would also make the stakes for Emmanuelle a lot higher, because she would actually have to choose between comfort and the comfort of the life in the community where she grew up, where she was never truly accepted, and a lot of power that came with a lot of danger and a lot of responsibility, because those witches were not creatures that were evil, but simply creatures that were forced into this position. However, by the end of the book, we realized that the witches were evil all along, and then Emmanuelle's choice was just, okay, I guess. Like, the stakes weren't high at the end. It was clear that the witches were evil, and so the hardest part of Emmanuelle's situation was basically solved for her when the witches were actually just pure evil. And there's a difference between evil and unhinged, because I feel like unhinged is someone who has a lot of reason to be the way that they are, and this was not the case with the Year of the Witching. Also, Emmanuelle is not unhinged. Emmanuelle is just a liberal, and I'm a socialist, so I don't fuck with that. The next prompt is biggest surprise of 2021. Ooh, that's a difficult one. My answer to this prompt is this one. This is The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. The reason why this was the biggest surprise for me in 2021 was because I've read 2 of Silvia Moreno Garcia's books. I read Mexican Gothic, and I also read Gods of Jade and Shadow, and they were solid 4-star books. So I was expecting this book to be good but not blow me out of the water, and this book, listen, all that I could say about this book I have said in a video that I'm going to link in the cards up above. Perfection. Amazing. Incredible. In The Beautiful Ones, you're following this main character called Nina, who has telekinetic abilities, and is also a very young girl who goes to live with her cousin and his wife in the big city, in the grand ball season in the summer, in order to arrange herself a reasonable marriage. Nina is very idealistic, and halfway through she meets this guy called Hector, and Hector is in town precisely because he was once in love with Nina's cousin's wife called Valerie, and he actually wants to win Valerie back. So it's a love triangle, and it sounds silly, but it offers it. It was actually pretty weird, because this for me read like a Mexican soap opera, like a telenovela, and it brought up something in me that is a very interesting feeling of nostalgia, as if I was reading the stories that I had read many times over before. And Rachel from Reads with Rachel actually also did a review on The Beautiful Ones. I'm gonna link in the description below. And to her, it was evoked the same feeling that Pride and Prejudice evoked. So that feeling of yearning and stuff. And she's entirely correct. I was just wondering, like, how the same feeling can be explored so similarly by 2 different types of media in 2 different cultural contexts, and still be able to offer the same thing. And then how those feelings being explored, which is part of the human condition, can actually converge in a single work. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but The Beautiful Ones is just beautiful, and I would highly recommend this. Pleasant surprise. Thank you again, Kay, for sending me this and also forcing me to read this. The next question of the tag is a favorite new author, debut or new to you. So I am going to say that my favorite author of 2021, without a question, is Eva Reid. They recently came out with their debut novel, The Wolf and the Woodsman. So fucking good. I love, talking specifically about Eva Reid's writing, I love the way that they describe situations and places and feelings, but also the way that they work real life critique into their work in a way that feels very clear what they're trying to say. It's very obvious the type of critique that they're trying to pull out, but at the same time, it feels completely valid within the structure of the story that they're telling. So it's just beautiful. They're writing amazing. They can write like cake recipes, and I would buy that and I would read that shit up, because the hold Eva Reid has on me, amazing. The next question is newest fictional crush. What is my newest fictional crush? Oh, fuck. So my newest fictional crush is Shiala from Black Sun by Rebecca Rowan Horse. Shiala could fucking step on me, chew me up on life and spit me up, completely destroy my life, choke the life out of my neck, wring me, stab me, completely, powder me into smithereens, and I would say, thank you. Shiala is simply, oh god, she's so fucking hot. Oh, fuck. See, this is why I'm a bisexual disaster. Precisely because of this. So the next question is a book that made you cry. My answer to this question is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Once again, I am going to insert evidence that this was what happened. So, if you don't know this already, Clap When You Land is a story written in verse by Elizabeth Acevedo and tells the story of two girls, Camino and Yahaira, who share the same dad, but they do not know about it. And then when their dad dies in a plane crash, they actually have to kind of put together the pieces of their dad that they didn't know existed, but that together with the pieces that they knew and loved. And so the exploration of grief and pain and sorrow and suffering, but at the same time of anger and at the same time of happiness and joy about certain aspects of that person's life and, the love that that person held for you is extremely interesting. But the reason why this book made me cry eventually was also because this book is extremely delicate and responsible in the way that it discusses diaspora, and specifically the way that it discusses diaspora from the global south. Yahaira has this one specific moment that she's like, how can I claim that a country that I never lived in? And so this difference, this alienation, this sense of separation that she felt from the Dominican Republic, which is where her parents were from, is very interesting to be explored. But at the same time, Elizabeth Acevedo has the care to explore things from Camino's side, where Camino is like, oh, that's it? She just takes her passport and buys a plane flight and she can come here. There's no groveling in front of embassies. There's no begging. There's no pleading. There's no fear that you're going to be stopped at the airport at any second. It's just that. And so I feel like she superposes the two realities really well. The way that Camino's rage and indignation is very much justified, but also the way Yahaira's sense of dissonance from her culture and from the culture of her parents is also valid and also very painful. So the way that the two girls come together at the end imperfectly, it's not a happy ending by all means, but it's definitely a sense of understanding in that regard. And so I feel like all of that creates this beautiful story that was definitely one of the best stories that I have read this year, like I said. Next question is the most beautiful book you have bought or received this year. I have received so many books this year. I am so grateful. I'm so thankful that I have. Everyone who sent me books, I am so extremely thankful that y'all sent me and took the time to send me those books. However, the most beautiful book that I have this year, that I bought this year, was actually a book that I bought, and it is this one. This is a book about witches. The original of this book in English is The Witch, A History of Fear from Ancient Times to the Present. This is a nonfiction book about the history of witches and stuff and different cults and religions. But this book is fucking incredible. And I'm not just saying, oh, this book is incredible outside. Look at this book. This is fucking insane. They sent me this as a page marker. All of this book, the entirety of it, all of the pages, literally every single page has a different design, and it's the most beautiful thing that I have bought. The care that went into making this book is just absolutely mind-blowing. So this is the most beautiful edition. I've been reading this really, really slowly, truth be told, precisely because this is a book that I am going to eventually use on my thesis, and so I feel like I'm reading it more like I read my college books, but so beautiful. So beautiful. I haven't even tabbed it. I feel sorry for trying to tab it because it's so pretty. Okay, so the final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All of the books that I need to read by the end of the year are books of my physical TBR, of books that were sent to me, the majority of them, by my friends, and I need to get through them as soon as possible. Thankfully, my friends are well aware that I'm not getting through any books before I'm completely done with my thesis. So thank you all my friends, especially Rachel and Kay, for bearing with me in this hard times. So the first book that I have to read until the end of the year is this one. This is A Morte de Quincas Berro d'Água, or The Deaths of Quincas Water Screams, something like that. It's really nonsensical. This is a really short one that I bought because it's one of the few ones of this author, Jorge Amado, that I haven't read yet. Basically, it's the story of this man who one day freaks the fuck out and decides that he doesn't want to live the life that he's living with his wife and daughter and very proper standing family members. And so he decides to live with the wretched part of society, like gamblers and drunks and prostitutes and stuff. And within that, he was called Quincas Berro d'Água. And one day he dies, and his previous family wants to, come up and concoct a story about how he died and finally put this shameful part of their reputation to rest. But then his friends of, the vagrants of life actually steal his corpse and give him a farewell that is attuned to what he would have wanted. This is a very short one, it's a very funny one, but it's one of the only ones of Jorge Amado that I haven't read yet, so I need to get through this. The next book that I have is a book that Kay sent me and said it was one of their favorites, and it's Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. I don't know much about this book. I know that Kay loves it a lot. And I also know that it's a fantasy romance and it's YA. I love the cover. The cover is very fucking pretty, but it's one that I know that it has something to do with presentations and artists and stuff, but also magic. So I'm very excited about this. Once I'm done with my thesis, it's definitely one that I'm reaching for. The next one is a book that Rachel sent to me, and it's All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is a book that has been on my TBR for a very, very long time, and I'm so happy and thankful that Rachel sent it to me because it's a memoir about George M. Johnson as a black, non-binary person, gay person, navigating their entire life. Absolutely beautiful cover and the back, and I feel like this is a memoir that would really put into perspective a lot of the reading that I already do in terms of theory. I am a huge proponent of queer theory. I really like queer theory. I use queer theory on my thesis all the time, and I feel like this book is going to be a beautiful way to understand queer practice, not only just the theory. So thank you again, Rachel, for sending me this one. The next book is a book that I am already halfway through, and it's We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. Kay sent me this one, and I'm so thankful. Thank you again, Kay, for sending me. So basically, this is an Arabian-inspired fantasy that has a lot of pining from whatever I could read. I'm actually halfway through this book already, and I don't want to say much because I'm still reading it, but basically it's about this girl who is the hunter of a certain place, and she's the hunter because she's the only one who can walk into a certain forest, certain magical forest, and one day she gets the opportunity to go into this forest with a purpose to kind of give back magic to the world. However, she meets someone who is well intent to thwart her plans, except, so far I've been liking it a lot. The writing is beautiful. I will say though that this book is a little on the slower side, so the first 100 pages were a little bit slow, but I had to stop right where the story was picking up because my thesis needed my attention, so I'm dying to get back to this one. Finally, the next book that I received from Rachel, again, thank you Rachel so much, is The Gilded Rose by Roshani Chasky. This is a book that I said from the beginning of the year that I was going to read, and I haven't yet. And then Rachel sent me the physical copy, and I'm like, oh shit, now I kind of have to. This is the book that I gave the song Die Young by Sylvan Esso when I did the 2020 Spotify Wrapped Decides My 2021 TBR. What I do know about this book is that this is also a high story that is set in Paris in 1889, if I'm not mistaken about the year. I know it's Paris because of the Eiffel Tower down here. So I'm very interested about this one, and I'm dying to get started. So I have... Oh my god, this is such a booktuber move for me. Who would have thunk? Oh shit. My bracelet actually caught on my shirt. So I have this pile of books to read until the end of the year. Oh, this is such a booktuber move. Oh my god. Look at her. Actually holding booktube faves. I think I feel like I'm legit now. Oh my god, thank you all. So basically, this was a tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see what the rest of the year will bring. Let's see if I can actually do some reading, because I have to be done with my thesis by the end of July. So I hopefully, until the end of the year, will have more time to actually get through this and all of the things that I have to read. But yeah, this was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.